All right, so you went on a nature walk to gather a bunch of naturey type objects. You see mine here. Or you took a walk around the house and gathered up a bunch of household objects, like I have here. And now, what we're going to do with these objects is we're going to create a landscape. We're going to create a landscape assemblage. It's a fancy art word. Basically, we're going to assemble these materials together to make it look like a picture of a landscape. But before that, I want to teach you a little bit about landscape art, okay? But before we actually start making our landscape assemblage, I want to teach you a little bit about landscape art. In a lot of landscape art, we want to separate the picture into different levels. And each level is supposed to look like it goes further and further back into the picture. So the first level is going to be close up, and then the next level is going to be a little bit further away, and then the next level is going to be even further away. Okay? So I'm going to tell you what those levels are. The first level is going to be towards the bottom of the artwork. And it doesn't have to be this shape or this line right here, but it's just going to be in this area. It's going to be in this area of the picture. And that's called the foreground. It's the area of the picture that is the closest to us. And that usually means that it's the lowest on the paper. Then the next level is the middle ground. That's the next level. It's a little bit further away than the foreground. And then finally, we have the background. And so the things in the background are going to be the furthest away. And it might include the sky. That's the background. When we make a landscape art and we show that there's a foreground, a middle ground, and a background, we're making it a little bit more realistic to what we see in real life. Because when we look out at the land of our world, we see areas that are closer to us, we see areas that are a little bit further away, and then we see areas that are really far away. And it's almost always in this type of arrangement where the foreground is lower, the middle ground is a little bit higher on the paper, and the background is highest on the paper. When we do our nature walk assemblage, our landscape assemblage, we want to try to arrange it so that each of these areas looks different and we can tell them apart. Okay, so here's where the fun really begins. We're going to take those objects that we gathered either from outside or from our house, and we're going to assemble them. You might have to move things around a bit here and there as you try to figure out what looks best, but you're going to take different objects and you're going to use them to represent different parts of the landscape. So different objects that you've gathered might look like the land, like a grassy meadow, or certain objects might look like water, or certain objects might look like trees and mountains, or a sun or clouds. So that's what you need to figure out. You need to figure out how you can use different objects to look like different parts of a landscape. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Okay, I think that that's good for my first one. These are using things that I found from outside. And again, I want to draw your attention to the different levels that I tried to show and tried to make different from each other. So the first level right here is the foreground, right? You can kind of see how that's different than the other level. And then this is the middle ground. Notice I used a different color to try to make those two levels different enough so I could tell them apart. And then the last level is the background, so the mountains and the sky. The mountains are a different color again from the middle ground. So it helps me tell them apart when I have different colors. So that's it for that one. And I also have some trees that are part of the foreground. You know, they come up and cover over other parts of the artwork. But that's okay. And I have a couple of birds flying in the sky too. Now I'm going to do one where I am using objects from inside the house. Okay, so I think I'm done. Try to notice the different areas again that I was talking about. Foreground is right here. Tried to make something that looks like maybe a river. Middle ground, a little bit further away. And background. And each level is different in some way. Really, the color is what makes them look different, and you can tell them apart because of the color. I got some mountains. I got a grassy area. Got kind of a tree thing. Oops, I just messed it up a little bit. Got some clouds, and maybe, I don't know if that's a sun or a moon. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is like a road maybe on the side of the water, or maybe it's just part of a beach. It could be part of a beach. That makes more sense. You can do this activity with both stuff that you find outside and stuff that you can find inside your house. We all can probably find scraps of cardboard or newspapers or magazines or paper, old pencils and keys and cereal and pasta. All of these things we have access to. When you're done making this, I would love for you to take a picture, and you might have to have your mom or dad help you with that. And then, once you take the picture, you need to get it onto your Chromebook. So you might need to email it to your school email. And then from there, you save it onto the computer and then attach it in this assignment in Google Classroom. There's a button in Google Classroom that says plus, add, or create. It's right in the assignment. You click on that and then you can attach the picture that you take of your artwork that you make. And then you click the button that says mark as done. Okay, have fun, good luck, and stay safe.